everything in 70s because he's so fast and such a hard worker. Have you heard of Christi Chiello, the comedian? No? Okay, thanks. You're throwing legs like my mother, to cover and I need. But then I started thinking about the Bible, and I will never do it again. You know that I'll never do it again.
Hello, everyone. It's another episode of CGP I'm going to keep saying P until you say something.
Brought
Forrest.
to you by We Are Trash People.
Yeah, I'm Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the canon.
And this is the podcast where we talk about the Chris Gethard Presents host that is coming up this week, which is going to be October 2nd, 2019. Christi Chiello. It's Christi Chiello's second CGP episode.
Yay!
Yay, Christi Chiello! Yay! And I'm especially excited about this one because we set some sort of precedence talking about people's social medias for their second episode. Because, of course, we tried to do a whole thing of her whole career back in episode 2. And
3. Keith was episode 2 with Fetch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, episode 3. And so our bubblegum princess, I remember we decided she was bubblegum.
We used to decide people were candy.
Yes. And she is going to, we're going to be talking about her social media because we decided to do that with Carmen. And I'm really excited because she's really good at social media.
Oh, yeah. She's a master of social media.
Yeah, she does the best stuff. It's absolutely hilarious. In the Chris Gethard Discord, Chris Gethard Presents Discord, which everyone should be in.
Planet Scum.
Like, they've independently just put her social media out there as being really funny on multiple occasions. It's great. So yeah, it'll be episode 205, Rejection, a Talk Show. And it will feature cast members Katie Hartman.
Yes, and she was in the week of alongside CGP host Rachel Pegram.
She played, and we of course watched the week of,
as we talked about on the last episode.
It's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, Adam Sandler and Chris Rock.
Yep, and it's on Netflix. It was made for Netflix.
And she plays the bride-to-be's very basic best friend.
Mm-hmm. She gets more screen time than Rachel Pegram.
Yes.
But if you would like to see Katie Hartman, I would also suggest that perhaps you do not watch the movie the week of.
No, you could watch one of the 4 episodes of the special without Brett Davis that she was on, and she also wrote 2 episodes of the special. Yeah. No, she's really cool.
Yeah. The other person will be Carly Ann Philbin, who is a comedian and writer who performs frequently at UCB and created the web series Single Blonde Failure.
And then, so we're going to read Christi's bio as well, as we did last time.
This is from her website, correct?
Yes.
Christi Chiello is a comedian, actress, and voiceover artist based in New York City. She made her Comedy Central debut on Jeff Ross's Presents Roast Battle opposite legend Jimmy Carr. She was named a new face of comedy at the International Just for Laughs Comedy Festival of 2017.
Christi has appeared on Rachel Dratch's Late Night Snack, where the Found Footage Festival also appeared. That's my little editorial. And Comedy Knockout on True TV, and has played various roles on IFC's Comedy Crib. She co-hosts the popular live show Battle of the Divas with Mateo Lane, featured in the New York Times and chosen for Best of the NY Comedy Festival by Time Out New York, and performs stand-up almost every night at venues all over NYC. Christi wrote and stars in It's Christi Bitch, a one-woman show currently at Joe's Pub.
It's been featured in the New York Times, was hailed a must-see comedy event by Time Out New York, and has toured New York City and nationally at Ars Nova, Dynasty Typewriter, the Good Comedy Theater, and Wage House Improv Theater. Do you think that she got all the way out to San Francisco?
Oh, I mean, I sure hope so.
I don't recognize any of those locations.
I recognize Good, but I don't recognize any of them as being here. Yeah, Good's in Philly, so.
She also stars in Chris Gethard Presents on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You can hear Christi as Baby Saffron in Pinkalicious and Peterific on PBS Kids, and see her in national television commercials for IKEA. She is, and then
it's just 2 reps her, which I
Yeah.
don't think you're going to be super interested in, dear listener.
yeah, I feel like if you want to rep Christi, you're not gonna sit down to like listen to a podcast that 2 other people have about her, rather than one of the myriad ones that she's on.
That's fair. Christi also won the Little Miss Comedy Pageant in 2018, which is hosted by Kelsey Kane and Latino comedian and convicted sex offender Martin Urbano.
And both were on Martin's episode of CGP.
And then some of Christi's frequent collaborators are Petey DeBreo, who co-hosts White Chocolate with Christi. And in 2018, White Chocolate was part of the New York Comedy Festival. And there's a quote from one of the ones that we watched last time that Christi was on CGP, where she said, quote, "We've been called Tracy Morgan and a squeak toy," which sums up their dynamic nicely. She also appeared on his podcast, Hope of the Hood. And her episode of that's really good.
Yeah, she reveals to us that her favorite curse word is pussy.
Yeah, which makes sense.
It's mine as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mateo Lane is another selected frequent collaborator. They are her co-host for Battle of the Divas.
And then there's Lorelai Ramirez. They played Preston on Coochie Creek and co-created the shows Actors and Actors Rebirth with Christi. And both of those shows mock actors who regard their craft with overflowing self-importance. And we're going to talk about actors a little bit more later on in the show.
Because we watched it. You
Yes,
can watch it.
it's all on
It's
YouTube.
online. All of it. The whole thing. Yeah.
Link will be in our show notes.
Yeah. And now we want to get into the 15 social media links of hers. And then at the end, we'll talk about actors. And then I have some super special things
Oh, yeah.
that I have prepared.
I'm excited for that part.
In honor of Christi about the art of insult comedy.
Because if you don't, you may not know, but she's really big in roasting. She does a lot of roasts in New York. And though a lot of those are on YouTube, so you should also check those out. We talked about those in our first episode about Christi.
Yeah. So this first one is a tweet that made me giggle personally. For so long, I blamed my mother's back problems on my stepping on cracks as a kid. But it turns out she has fibromyalgia. So relieved.
I really liked one of the comments from Gull, who said, "Maybe it did, though. Step on a crack, give your mother fibromyalgia. Just doesn't have the same ring to it."
It doesn't. And that's probably why that secret cause of fibromyalgia is hidden.
Yeah.
Looking at you, my future kids, who somehow karmically are stepping on cracks and then giving me fibromyalgia in the past.
It's really impressive they're really cracks and sidewalks are shockingly powerful.
Oh, yeah. It radiates through times. There are cracks in space-time.
Oh, it just looks like the sidewalk.
Yes.
To our limited perception, I see.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on.
Our next link is also a tweet, and it opens with a bunch of wave emoji, and then Christi says, "Moms go fucking nuts for a starfish necklace. If it has a seashell, it's on a mom's wrist. If you're not wearing a coral reef ring, are you even a mom? Sand dollars all up and down a mom's blouse." And then more waves.
Yep. My favorite comment was from Melissa Terrell. "Don't forget the bathroom. There are seashells all over the bathroom."
I do always find it weird the bathrooms have that whole nautical theme going on. I get the water is in both of them, but you shouldn't.
Water's in a lot of things.
Yeah, and you shouldn't poop in tide pools.
No, don't poop in tide pools.
And they're all it's usually tide pool creatures. It's
Guess what my bathroom at my childhood home's theme was? Forest.
Tide pools?
Yeah, basically. It was fish and ocean. Nautical.
Ours didn't have a theme.
Moms. I mean, were you even raised by a mom?
I thought so, but
Is your mom even a mom?
I mean, she doesn't wear seashells that much, so I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I don't think your mom's a mom. Just gonna be real. I think.
I'm sorry I had to learn this way.
Yeah, I'm sorry as well. Our third one is Christi on being a comedian in America. This is from Twitter, and she posted this on July 12th, 2019. These are all pretty recent tweets.
Yeah, they're all mostly recent tweets.
We have being a comedian in America right now feels like being in that band that played music on the Titanic. We're just doing our best to lighten the mood on a ship we know is sinking. Yep.
It's funny because it's true.
Yep.
Number 4, the best part of being in a relationship, to get off of that topic, is the best part about being in a relationship is not having someone to share your life with, having a teammate, or feeling genuine love. It's sex. It's sex on a regular basis. And anyone who tells you otherwise is, sadly, a pussy.
Again, favorite swear word of
Yeah,
hers.
I mean, it's a really good one. It's a really funny one.
And this is from May 16th, 2019. She recently is in a relationship.
Yeah.
Or at least recently compared to like the 6 years that she spent not in a relationship.
She talked about that on the podcast, right?
Oh, yeah. And in this comment, I just realized. So,
oh, yeah.
Ryan Ballas replied and said, praying for you, and had a gif of like Medea or something. And Christi responded, it's been 6 years. Let me have this. Yeah. Let her have it, Ryan.
I have confirmed it is in fact Medea.
Okay. I was wondering because I was like the woman who killed Jason's and hers kids and like walked out like a bamf and from.
Oh, the Greek one.
Yeah, the Greek one.
Yeah, I didn't think of the Greek one at all.
Yeah, she's a badass.
You know who else is a badass?
Who?
George Wendt, who played Norm on Cheers. And number 5 is art that Christi made of that beautiful man.
On Instagram.
And it was posted
It's
on September 4th, 2019.
Yeah.
And it's a black and white photo of George Wendt with stickers, like bright, like Lisa Frank style stickers, formed into a heart. And orcas, killer whales, are his eyebrows. And then it just says, I love you, made of stickers below it as well. And there's also a sticker of a pug in a top hat, which I choose to believe is a sticker of Judge Robin, the Trill AF pug, who is both our co-host on the TCGS episodes and the official judge of Planet Scum.
Yep. Her comment on that was, proud of my art. DM me for rates. Prices start as low as $3,000. Great for holidays and gender reveals.
And then Brandy L. Barber said she peed herself looking at that, which, I mean, I get it. It's pretty great. I love it. I love the like cutesy aesthetic applied to like middle-aged man from Chicago. I think he was Chicago, but Cheers is in Boston. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's just really funny applying cutesy Lisa Frank aesthetic to him, to George Wendt specifically.
Do you think you're going to start saving up for that $3,000 to purchase your own?
I think I have to, because
I think you might have to. I think you just might have to.
At the very least, to give to the MoMA.
Our number 6 is another Insta post. It's Christi singing Who Is That Masked Singer? She is singing in a mask, and she is singing whenever. And this is based on, did you know that this is based on a real show, Forrest?
Yeah, The Masked Singer on Fox.
How did you know this? I didn't know this.
Oh, really? No, I totally knew it. Yeah, that's part of the joke, is so to explain the premise behind the original show, is celebrities,
like B-list
celebrities appear in full costume and sing.
I'm sorry, that is my cat running into the microphone.
And then the judges try to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
And then they vote clips. Someone off too.
And they unmask them.
Recently, Twitch streamer Ninja of Fortnite was on as Ice Cream. I think Donny Osmond was on it as well.
Yeah, Donny Osmond, T-Pain.
All right, T-Pain. Tommy Chong was on. Yeah.
That was the only one who I knew who that person was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Not T-Pain?
No, I've heard of T-Pain.
I know him from the Lonely Island stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's great. Who is that masked singer? If you don't feel like going wherever, whenever to find out, tune in tonight at Masked Singer Fox And despite what you hear, it's not Shakira. She's absolutely singing like Shakira.
Yeah.
But my favorite comment was Corinne Fisher, who is from the podcast. She's a comedian and on the podcast One Less Lonely Girl.
Two Less Lonely Girls.
Two Less Lonely Girls. Which Christy's on one of the episodes of, and it's a really good one. She says, I kind of wish you were my roommate. To which Christy responded, darling, I'm a nightmare dressed like a daydream.
I loved that quote. And then our next one is Christy singing Seasons of Love from Rent, which is the big song at the end of Rent about 525,600 minutes.
Are you picking up the barking dog, Forrest? Do you hear this barking dog?
I hear it, but I don't know that the mics are getting it.
Well, if they are, it seems like every animal in this 3-level house just really wants to get in on Christy's episode. That and all of our squeaking chairs.
Oh, are they being really bad this week?
They're being, at least in my headphones. I don't know how I feel about it, Forrest. How do you feel about possibly our noisiest episode being the second one? Do you think that perhaps instead of being just a real hoot, it might just be a sad podcast? Christy said she's swinging for the fences this one. I'm really excited to see what it is, because her original one was pretty, like, it was excellent. It was really funny, but it fit a more expected, like, talk show style that we were expecting. And now she's coming out, she's like, I'm swinging for the fences. This is either going to be great or a really sad play. And now that we've seen actors, I'm like, fuck, what's she gonna do? Like, she can get real experimental. And I feel like, I mean, she was only the third person. So,
no, it made sense to play it safe when you're number 3. And I think Chris might have even, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, hey, like,
I don't even necessarily know.
I don't think he had to say anything. I think it's just like if they're your first time doing it, you want to like.
Well, I think that she had that idea for Coochie Creek. I think that itself was, you know, a new and interesting thing. But now that she's done that, you know, what are you gonna do with an hour of TV? Yeah, and she's been on The Special a bunch of times. It's not like she's not, you know, used to playing with format.
No, I know. I didn't mean it that way. I mean, I think what I meant more was it didn't occur to me really how loose the format could be.
I think that what she's swinging for is maybe presenting a different character.
Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Because the bubbly, excited, horny Christian teenage girl,
that's true,
feels very Gethard.
It does.
It's something that she's done a ton of because she's great at it. It's a core part of her act. Whereas what we saw in Actors, which is, I know I'm totally jumping ahead. We're only on number 7. But I got distracted with
all the barking that you may or may not have heard.
All of the barking, the sad podcast element of our show today. I hope that listening to my cat lick itself is funny for all of you and isn't just the sad reality of some people in their mother's basement.
I mean, he's being a lot more, he's interfering a lot more today than he usually does. So hopefully you don't mind the bell jingling.
Yes. But what you should check out instead, if it does bug you, is Christy singing a big song from Rent and getting super extra in her singing. She's a really great singer.
She's a wonderful singer, yeah.
And she does all of the extra singery things, the and ows.
Yeah.
You know?
I do know exactly what those are. And yeah, she does. She pulls out all the stops in this and is just having a lot of fun. Her postscript description. Is that what that? Description. It's
description. I am so excited for At Rent on Fox
because they did the live show.
It's one of my favorite musicals of all time. So of course I had to do the hashtag Rent Sing Along #Seasons of Love challenge. I just made that up. It should have been real.
It should have been real. That should have been the social media craze of the summer.
She says, I hope you all like it. And then ats all of the people who are going to be in it, all the actors, and said, shockingly, I am not a professional singer. Swipe for the climax. Yeah. And a great comment. Corinne Fisher, again, from Two Less Lonely Girls. I would like to see a version of Rent where you play all of the parts and it's in your bedroom and I sit with your stuffed animals. And I feel like this is not a crazy request, knowing you. I
would love if that was a future CGP episode from Christi.
Right? That's immediately what I thought. Yeah. I'm like, is this the sad play? Can she use Rent? I mean, it's a sad play for a lot of reasons. It's not my favorite musical, mostly because they killed the best character.
Right.
The only character I liked.
Angel?
Yes. Sorry, spoilers for like the oldest musical ever besides Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yeah, it's old now.
It's very old.
And then number 8 is a video where, to promote her one-woman show, It's Christi Bitch, Christi asks a stranger if he's heard of her. She just walks around the streets of New York and asks someone, hey, have you heard of Christi Chiello? He says no. She just keeps going.
Yep. It's on Instagram.
Yes, that's on Instagram. And it was posted on November 23rd, 2018.
The best comment was from MK Freake69. Nice. Very nice. Says, I love this, but why do you do it to yourself? Because Christi has iron around her. She loves herself so much. She has said it on podcasts that she's like, worried that it's a problem how much she loves herself. She loves herself so much that she's worried that no one should love themselves that much and that there therefore must be something wrong with her to love herself so much.
Yeah, she specifically brought that up on Hope of the Hood, at the very least.
Yeah. And I love her. And
she's great. She should be that confident. She is amazing.
Oh, yeah. And I think that that's where a lot of her power to do embarrassing characters. She commits.
Oh, yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
She's in her freaking, stupid, a pink mask with her iPhone pointed at her. I cannot imagine standing in a place with alone in a room and then just committing that hard.
I think that's why we're not comedians.
I think that's probably
part of it, at least.
Like, I just don't want to. Like, that's not something that's part of me. But it is of her, and it's amazing and beautiful.
Absolutely.
About her.
No, I love it.
That's why she, I was going to say makes the big bucks doing things like actors and stuff. And I'm like, no, probably not.
That's why
That's severely unlikely.
That's why she should
be making the big bucks. Yes. Number 9, Christi Chiello performs as Bridget Everett on Shtick or Treat in 2018.
So as background, Shtick or Treat is a show every year where comedians dress in costumes as other comedians who they like a lot, generally, and then perform a set as that comedian. Like, people have done it as Charlie Chaplin and Aziz Ansari and just a bunch of the bigger name comedians. It's real. I love it. It's such
Bridget
a cool idea.
Everett?
She's a comedian.
And she sings?
Yeah.
Well,
she opens her set with, at least the ones I've seen, she opens her set with her singing that song, the song that Christi sings.
Well, Christi has an amazing voice, and it's incredible to hear her.
She's performed on Inside Amy Schumer, and she calls herself an alt cabaret provocateur, which I love as a description.
That's so Christi.
Oh, yeah. No, like, it makes sense that she really would like Bridget Everett a lot.
And you showed me side-by-side videos.
Yeah, and they'll both be in the show notes.
I was astounded. Christi really matches her vocal performance as well really well, which is a very badass singing move.
I think the place you would have seen Bridget Everett is in that movie Little Evil.
Oh.
She was Al.
She played Al?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She's really good. And she was great in that movie. And check out, Christi's not in it, but check out Little Evil. It's a very fun movie.
And she was also on Maria Bamford's show, right? As Dagmar?
don't know that was her.
Am I wrong? Are these two just two blonde comedians that I've decided are the same person?
Oh, no, that's her. That's her.
Oh, yes.
That's her.
Oh, my God. She's my favorite. She plays Dagmar on Maria Bamford's show, which
Lady
is on
Dynamite.
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Definitely check it out. She's great on that show, too. I should have just pulled, went with Lady Dynamite because
oh my goodness,
she kills it on that show.
Oh my goodness. And she can sing. I'm sorry. I think that this Christi Chiello podcast is turning into a
Bridget Everett.
A Bridget Everett podcast. She's wonderful, but she's not going to be on CGP.
No, and our hearts belong to Christi.
Yeah, our hearts belong to Christi. Our hearts belong to those who are gracing the floors of the MNN studio.
And so on her description of that Instagram post where she performs as Bridget Everett was, "Happy Halloween, here's me as my idol." And then Blair Sochi, another comedian, called Christi's performance amazing. And Kelsey Kane, who appeared on Martin Urbano's Comedy School and co-runs Little Miss Comedy, said, "Oh my God, I've never liked anything more than this." Which, really, I mean, that sums up my reaction to that video. I loved that video.
It's incredible.
Christi is amazing in it.
Even when I didn't know that I already loved Bridget Everett.
Yeah, no, purely, even if you don't know Bridget Everett, Christi just kills it.
Mm-hmm.
And then number 10 is a photo that Christi and Geth talked about on the CGP podcast, where they both performed at a college. And Geth is in the photo and keeps his arms bolted to his side.
Because it's a bunch of girls.
Yes, because he's around a bunch of college girls, and he's just like, you know what? I don't need to make physical contact with any of these college students. Which, you know what? Fair enough, Geth. Fair enough.
Yeah. This was a comedy club or whatever. It was mostly women.
Yeah. In
this club that had come up to them all as a group to be like, oh, take it. We want a picture of all of us with Gethard. Yeah. Good job, Northeastern, making Geth uncomfortable.
It's a really, and they took a 5-hour train ride to the show and then immediately took a 5-hour train ride back to New York. Mm-hmm. But it's a really it's a fun photo, and I wanted to highlight it because it was just mentioned on CGP this week, the real CGP podcast with Chris Gethard and Christi Chiello last week.
My favorite comment was the only comment on this picture. Adidas pre-awards cards.
The Adidas VIP rewards cards. It's a scam.
Cards. Hi, everyone. Get your shoes here on us. Adidas card.
It's a scam.
I just want to know why Adidas commented on this picture.
Because it's a scam.
I think that Adidas might want to sponsor Chris Gethard.
No, it's a scam.
They're clearly looking for times he was at colleges, because college students are the people who buy shoes.
Or maybe they wanted to sponsor Christi Chiello.
Christi Chiello. That's a good question for Christi Chiello.
What brand do you wish would sponsor you?
No. Oh. Will you sponsor Adidas? Will you accept this sponsorship offer from Adidas VIP rewards cards?
The definitely legit at Adidas VIP rewards cards. That is definitely in no way a scammer using brand recognition and redirecting to their other scam accounts in case this one gets banned too quickly.
Yeah.
Definitely not that.
No, it's not that at all.
100% not that.
Not at all. Number 11.
Rock On.
Rock On. This is a picture on Instagram. It is Christi Chiello outside of a place in Los Angeles.
She's outside of the Hard Rock Cafe in New York. Oh. And she's posing and pointing at a sign that says "Rock This Way." And the description on the photo says, "Excuse me, which way to rock? Raffle. Cece, you crazy for this. Having fun today in the city of dreams. This was taken seconds after I text my mom, will I die alone? LOL, rock on."
What I love about this is it really sums up a nice part of her comedy stylings on social media. She plays with the juxtaposition of the influencer idea of Instagram, of social media, this bright and shiny and optimistic exterior, with that other sort of idea of social media and internet presence that it's just a bunch of losers lying and living in their grandmother's basements and crying all the time, which is clearly false because I don't have a big social media presence.
And we don't cry all the time.
No, not
just
all
like a
the
lot
time.
of it.
But I think that that's like
Yeah.
really funny. I like that she does that with a lot of her posts, and that's a lot of what makes me laugh out loud is like tucking these like really like obviously absurd but like pathetic comments
And when you
next to like this shiny exterior.
when you pointed that out, it really helped me like fit Rejection, a talk show, into her sort of comedy persona, because I think it's going to be more of this one than some of the purely bubbly parts that we see in some of the other stuff she's done. It's going to be that, like, I would imagine that dark interior masked with or the sad interior, you know?
Yeah.
I think she's going to play with that contrast on this episode.
She likes playing with something breaking through a mask, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she likes characters that are barely holding it together, that are trying to act like one thing, but are actually another, and they just can't quite keep it together, which is hilarious. Number 12, warning.
I love this photo.
It's just a photo. It says warning, and it gives a date. It's like, you know, some date in December.
It's October 5th, 2018. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of what she's warning us about.
Description just says, is when I'm due for my next period. I love TMI, gross out jokes about women's bodies, and vagina having just vaginas. Vaginas that are attached to all peoples, because they're funny. They're funny, and they're super underrepresented in gross out comedy. I am a person who likes a lot of gross out comedy.
You do.
Especially when it comes to bodily functions. I take humor. Humor helps me get through the gross things. And having, you know, having an anus, having an asshole, having excreting things out of one's body is gross.
Sure.
It's gross. And humor is a fun way to deal with that. And a penis is jizz, and that's funny as well. Things that come out of people, it's gross. It's gross. It's super weird, and I don't understand it. And like, why should things be that way? But it happens. And so let us approach it with humor. And I have not seen enough humor about that has helped me deal with and make me just seen and happy. I don't know. I love seeing like gross out vagina humor.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with you that it's underrepresented, because
they're like, oh, it's too gross. Oh, it's too gross to even joke about. And I'm like, well, fuck you. It's what I have. So what I have is too gross for you.
Yeah, I mean,
it's too gross for you, little boy.
Yeah.
Meh.
A lot of men are too. There's such a stigma around it from men and women, but like especially I think in this case relevantly men. And so the jokes don't get greenlit and don't get moved on, and it's ridiculous because it's such an avenue of comedy.
And there's this idea that women have to, there at least was before, an idea that like, and Sarah Silverman, when she was starting out, like people were giving her acclaim because she was a girl comic who would do gross dude jokes.
Yeah.
And part of that was their like, you know, she had to lean more into the male anatomy in those jokes.
Yeah.
And like farting, it's like, oh wow, gross things coming out of a girl. Whoa. And I think that just the evolution of comedy shows it's so cool that now we get our female comedians like Christi can just get up there and be unapologetically girly and unapologetically vagina having.
Yeah, I agree. I love that that's how comedy has moved, where
we have write what you know.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You know what? We vagina havers know vaginas.
Yeah, no, exactly. I completely agree.
Nicole Byer commented, cute that you know, I'm 100 years old and I'm surprised every month. Christi Chiello says, ha 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 girl, I've been on the pill since I could swallow a pill. Which I also love jokes about Jokes about the pill. Jokes about birth control.
The next one that I loved was number 13, where Christi jokingly calls out someone who spills their drink at what she describes as the one poetic part of her show. It's Christi Bitch, where she's being like it's a very confessional moment. And then someone spills their drink and she starts like making fun of them. But then like it's Christi. So then goes like, but it's fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Like, and I love it. And then my favorite comment is from CM Fin D, who seems to be the person who spilled the drink in the video, who says, I will never forgive myself, but you handled it like a fucking legend. And then Christi says, ha ha ha, you are everything. Favorite audience member of all time. It was such a meme move. And then the crying with laughter emoji. And I just love it because I think that it shows off how great Christi is at crowd work and how great she is at improv off the cuff stuff, which I think is one of her hallmarks.
And how good she is at embodying characters and emotions because, immediately when it happens, she runs at the person in mock outrage only to immediately snap into, oh, no, it's fine. And then in that moment, it's bonding with that audience member. Yeah. And the audience now feels safer because they know that she can take it and that it's not that a thing happens and you just roll over it. It's part of the lose well. Yeah,
I think that's a really good point.
Part of the lose well.
And a good connection.
Number 15, last but not
14.
least. 14. Second to last but not least.
Penultimate but not least.
Penultimate but not least. A video that she shared as when someone responds to the meme that they make with LOL.
And not like, ha 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 ha, OMG, I'm dead.
Yep.
And it's her crying. And it's like, don't do that.
Just saying, I won't do it again. It's the last quote in the intro.
Yeah.
Where she says she won't do it again. Again, I think it's fun because she's doing commentary on the type of language and communication that is being created with social media.
And I think that's furthered by the fact that she tagged the location as Alcatraz Federal Prison because it's one of those jokes that you can only make on social media. Like the medium becomes the message.
Yeah. And it's about the message itself. Like the way that we are able to communicate meaning through spelling and through periods and punctuation, it's entirely new. It's such a way that a person, if an archaeologist were to only see, back and forths on Twitter, they wouldn't know what the fuck was going on. They would not know the difference between hey with one Y and hey with 3 Ys.
It's true.
There's a big difference.
My favorite comments on this video were both from the Danny P, who first commented, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen on the internet." And then later commented, "Scratch that. Best thing I've ever seen." I love that they came back and was like, okay, my compliment was not actually quite good enough. I should be more effusive, which I relate to.
I like the idea that they said this is the best thing I've seen on the internet. And then right before they did the next comment, they were struck. They were like smote by God, like something landed on their head or something. And they saw their whole life flash before their eyes. Like an angel showed them all these things and was like, all right, you can do one last thing. You can do one last thing before we, take you to your final judgment. And they chose to affirm to Christi that was the best thing that they saw.
I mean,
they can now confirm.
Frankly, they're right to, because it's really good.
And now, last but not least, God created pigeons before humans.
And the description is, honestly, this is a crazy epiphany. God loves pigeons? They are Earth upperclassmen? My mind is blown.
So this is so good.
I love this.
It's a little short. Her on her phone, walking with her cute glasses on, cute little Harry Potter glasses. And she's saying, I just had a crazy epiphany. I was about to kick a sky rat which is what I call pigeons because I don't respect them. When I had a thought, I was thinking about the Bible.
I love the Bible.
The Bible. That God created the earth in 7 days. God created animals before they created humans.
It's true. Look it up.
That means that pigeons were here first.
Yep.
We should respect them because they were here first.
I mean, my favorite part is that this is all 100% accurate.
Can we talk about the hashtags?
Oh, the hashtags are a great part of this. Yeah.
Let's go back and forth. Hashtag the passion of the Christi.
Hashtag Bible stories.
Hashtag the gospel according to me.
Hashtag it's Christy, bitch.
Hashtag the more you know.
Hashtag Super Soul Sundays.
Hashtag Christians for pigeons.
Hashtag Sky Rats.
Hashtag born again through birds.
Christians for Pigeons is also my favorite, I think. It's just so funny. The idea that there's this like social movement on Instagram that consists entirely of Christians being like, you know what? Pigeons have had a real bad rap recently, but no more. Based on biblical principles, we have to stick up for these sky rats.
It's what Jesus would have wanted.
It's what Jesus and God the Father and God the Holy Spirit would want.
Yep.
I mean, I just love it. I also love that this joke is biblically accurate. That's my favorite part, and she's right. That is how it goes down in that book.
So those are our 15
Yeah.
things, but we have plenty of bonus material here.
Yes.
We did talk a lot about actors, which is it exists on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing. It's really good. It's her and Lorelai Ramirez, who is going to be a staff writer of the National Lampoon Radio Hour.
Yeah.
Lorelai
Yeah, they're going to be on that
Ramirez.
as well.
It also featured Dan Chamberlain. The special without Brett Davis's Lena Einbinder.
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
so.
And Lena sparkles
Lena's
brightly
great.
in this. Lena is the third main
Yeah.
of this. It's Lorelai, Christi, and Lena. And then Anna Fabrega has a great little pop in at the end.
Yeah, her character's so good too.
Yeah, it's a parody of pretentious theater and pretentious actors who are going to, throughout the night, show off how playing yourself can be the hardest role of all. Yeah, it's a very farcical... You took down all of my analysis.
Yes.
It's a farcical... Farcical?
Farcical.
Farcical?
I think it's farcical.
Farcical? Farcical? I feel like I'm saying fart
It's
bag.
farcical. It's farcical.
Farcical, like a bicycle.
Or a fart icicle.
I'm sorry you killed me.
It's also, as you noted when we were watching it, a Brechtian performance that calls attention to acting as a facade.
Ooh, big trigger warning.
Yeah, also definitely there's quite a bit of sexual assault references throughout it. So if
Done as jokes.
they're done as jokes,
And
but
absurd. Very absurd.
Yes.
Very, if you saw her original Christi Coochie Creek episode, it's along the line, Lorelai Ramirez.
oh yeah, with the potato people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Lorelai Ramirez's jokes, presumably, because they are delivering them. So
Yeah.
it's along those sort of absurdist lines.
But we just wanted to give you a heads
know
up.
that.
So when you listen to it, you know that.
Yes.
I really like some of the jokes that I really liked from Christy in it were that Christy's youth group taught that the only solution to crime was salsa dance.
To violence.
Oh, it was to violence. Sorry, I mistyped
she
that.
She taught a youth group. She's a youth group leader who teaches the only solution
to violence is salsa dance.
She has conversation with an audience member about loving a stuffed animal.
Because the audience member loved their stuffed animal growing up.
Yeah. No, well, it was...
Right?
No, they had the audience member hold out their hands and imagine...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
A kitten.
That's right.
In their hands. The cutest kitten. And as you look at this kitten, you just feel so loved.
That's right.
You feel unconditional. You're love. It sounds like an acting exercise.
Oh, 100%
from
it
a
is.
movie. And then she goes, But oh goodness, look at that. It's a stuffed animal. Your mother lied to you.
Yeah, that's right.
How can you love something that's not even real?
And I love how it plays with the like idea that all actors have a kinship. So like they should all, that they should all, because at the end there's a whole thing
where people who are actors, but then it also shows them, because those characters are using their status as actors as something that makes them better than other people.
Right.
So they're kind of using it throughout with the audience to like both be like, oh, I'm just like you, but also I'm way better than you.
Yeah. There's a lot of really interesting and fun status things like woven throughout actors.
Things that made me, gave me some interesting thoughts about my relationship with the acting and theater community in my life. Because I mostly did crew.
Right, yeah.
I didn't really have the confidence to perform, and I don't like the lights and stuff. Sensory
They're so bright.
things. People with sensory weirdness just aren't gonna like that. But also, like, the performance communities that I have found where I'm like, oh, yes, these are the people that I am supposed to be around, and the people who I'm like, oh, there's something severely different here. Like, not necessarily good or bad or better or worse, but just like, oh, like I'm on a weird wavelength. I am on a different wavelength than most humans.
Yeah.
So it's not, there's no value judgment there.
No.
But I found it really funny.
Yeah. And then you also had some thoughts.
Oh, I have many thoughts.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about Christi and in this episode, I was really thinking about insult comedy, because she really likes being in roasts.
Yeah.
She loves a good roast. It's something that she said on CGP. She is also she has been posting on social media leading up to this, comments from haters, just like real mean comments.
Yeah,
from
they're
YouTube.
They're real mean.
Just bullshit. But like, we've seen her take insults.
Oh yeah.
We've seen her stand on stage. We've seen her on podcasts, like, goading people into insulting her better.
Yeah, and that, like, the CGP podcast, I think it was the first episode.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
Tell me. Someone's like, your butt. And she's like, tell me what my butt is. Tell it. And so it made me curious about insult comedy and in a number of different ways. So the first little piece of information that I wanted to share with everyone about insults and insult comedy, just something of interest, the popular 1938 book, Homo Ludens. I got this from Instagram. I got this from Wikipedia, this particular paragraph. The popular 1938 book, Homo Ludens, written by Dutch historian and theorist Johan Huizinga.
Johan Huizinga?
Huizinga.
I feel more yeah. No, don't bazinga this.
Huizinga. I'm going to start using that now every time I talk about what makes us human. Huizinga.
Oh boy.
They make the basic argument that the dawn of civilization was the moment when people started insulting each other rather than, or in addition to, physically attacking each other. There appear to be forms of verbal jousting in pretty much all cultures. For example, one finds similar rituals in Japanese haikai, naquid in Arabic poetry, the Mandi practice of Sanakuya, and the Nigerian game known as Ikocha Nkocha. So that's pretty cool.
That is interesting that it goes back and has sort of been everywhere.
It's literally in every human culture. There is a tradition of this.
That does make it seem foundational. Yeah,
and in the 1920s and 30s, I read quite a bit about the idea of playing the dozens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was a... just some real fun stuff that I learned in this guy, Jerome New, who is a UC Santa Cruz philosophy professor. Pulling from a number of different things. So the dozens was a style of, and is sort of a style of verbal jousting.
Yeah.
Insult play done within Black cultures in the 1920s and 30s. It was in some cases considered sort of a rite of passage. Like there would be an audience and two boys would rhyme at each other, say yo mama jokes essentially. And you won when the other person either couldn't come up with a better joke, like couldn't sling it back, or got pissy and like punched you or something. Like, and like you won. You're like, haha, like I got you. Something that's funny to me, because what I really want to talk about, something I learned in college, is that Vikings did something similar.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine just like Vikings walking around calling each other, you know, homosexuals and accusing them of being women? Well, of taking it. That's the only insult, apparently. It's like, it's passivity in sexual relationships.
Weird.
I was thinking of the dozens because an anthropologist actually had the gall to say that the dozens was actually influenced by flyting, which was public entertainment in Scotland in the 15th and 16th centuries, and harkens back to earlier Celtic and, you know, the verbal insult culture of that region. They said that the Black individuals learned it from their Scottish slave masters, who definitely still just had that tradition with them, brought it all the way from, just brought it into the plantations and yelled it at each other, and then rhyming was picked up, which is interesting. So there's various ways that these traditions defanged the insults that were being slung. In previous African cultures, in Africa at school, there's no rhyming in the languages. That just wasn't really a thing until they decided to like integrate European styles. Europeans were all the fuck about rhyming. So
I mean, yeah, that's very, yeah.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about flighting is that it's a very, very complex rhyming scheme that is used, and it's the rhymes that are what defangs these insults. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Flighting became public entertainment in Scotland in the 15th and 16th centuries, when markers would engage in verbal contests of provocative, often sexual and scatological, but highly poetic abuse. Flighting was permitted despite the fact that the penalty for profanities in public was a fine of 20 shillings, which is over $300 for us in 2019 for a lord, or whipping for a servant. One of the most famous ones was the flighting of Dunbar and Kennedy, which records a contest between William Dunbar and Walter Kennedy in front of James IV, which included the earliest recorded use of the word shit as a personal insult.
Oh, wow. That's
Isn't that
crazy.
Great? Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy that we can place that.
And in some cases, in Iceland, at least, among those people, they would call it a senna, when like two people just met in a field and just slung insults at each other. It was actually used as a replacement for physical battle.
That's way better than physical battle.
In addition, like you could do that and then decide to like fuck each other up.
Yeah.
But you could also just do that, and then the winner could like walk away, and like, you know, they would decide not to do that. So I have two things that I would like to share with the people listening to this at this point, now that we have learned about the culture of insulting poems that go back throughout history. So it's not just like random mean shit. Every single culture, every single human culture has this. Yeah. I would like to share the earliest recorded use of shit as a personal insult in this one of the last stanzas of the flighting of Dunbar and Kennedy. At the end of the poem, people have to double up on their rhymes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it's extra rhymes. So you can see this here. So I want to do that, and then I want to talk about one of the reasons why flighting as a human cultural phenomenon, to use that word to describe the whole insult ritual. Yeah. And suggest maybe why it still happens. Like why is Christi, this is my question. Why is Christi Chiello going to roast battles? Why is she doing this? This is my question. I love roast battles.
No, they're great.
I fucking love insults. Like, I didn't like the celebrity roast on Comedy Central because I didn't feel like they were mean enough. I'm like, this is all a bunch of defanged nonsense, and I don't know who these celebrities are.
I mean, I know that on those, I think that the celebrity had a degree of veto power in terms of the topics that could be discussed, which I think is part of why it felt a little defanged. It's just based on the fact that, like...
That's true. But in addition, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, okay, so I'm like, why is this happening? So first, we're going to listen to Dunbar and Kennedy. You can revel like the devil, but level and surrender. Thief or grief or mischief shall come courting.
Ooh.
Grovel for grace, dog face, or I shall chase you all winter. Oh, also, there's some really bad swear words in this.
Oh, yeah, some stuff's coming up.
Yeah, bad swear words. I think I didn't do one of the ones with, like, that just had all of the slurs.
Yeah.
All these old slurs.
Yeah, you mentioned that one, and that
all
sounded
these old
rough.
slurs that you can still tell, though, who they're slurring.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah, those were rough.
I just like how Jew, just the word Jew, is one of the insults. They just rhyme it in there.
Wow, I didn't know Trey Parker and Matt Stone wrote a historical flight.
I was reading it out loud, and as I got to that word, it's like, you Jew.
That's just South Park.
Like, what?
That's just South Park.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, howl and yowl owl, I shall foul your fame and fortune, naked capon fed and bred against a bitch's side, and like a mongrel criminal, no man sets aught by you, cunt bit, sorry shit, worthless git, hardened hide, wasted weather, tawdry tether, evil adder, I defy you.
Mic drop.
Doesn't it sound like a spell, though? At the end,
Yeah.
I defy
No, it
you.
does. The end sounds a lot like a spell.
Like the dirtiest Harry Potter spell.
Yeah. 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 It sounds like if there's ever an HBO Harry Potter series,
Oh, yeah.
that'll be in there.
Oh, yeah.
Someone will be naked and casting it.
So here's my theory. One of my theories on why roast battles are happening right now. Why we want to get together and insult each other, and when it's okay to do that and when it's not. Because I've gotten in trouble coming up with some real funny burns, and then the person's like, we don't have that relationship. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. So I'm curious, and if anyone wants to talk more about it, fucking let me know, because I have a lot more goddamn thoughts.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I have read a lot of this philosophy book.
Yeah, you've been telling me about it
by
all
this
week as
philosophy
we led up to
professor.
this.
Freud has a lot to say. Freud has a lot of things to say, and a lot of them are very good descriptors of behavior that happens.
Interesting.
It's only his explanation for why they're happening that is utter bullshit.
I see. Yes. That is where he gets astray.
Okay, so the breaking of taboos signifies the participation of an in-group. Breaking taboos defines the boundaries of the in-group, as does the willingness to accept the inevitable insults on oneself or on, one's family member being insulted. Roasts and battles, therefore, provide a community-building exercise, I think, for comedians, because it's both creating a sense of shared guilt, the in-group guilt, which is one of the, the anthropologists that he has to cite, this Jerome, because there were a bunch of, white-ass dudes coming from their universities to do anthropological studies of the blacks in the South. So they say a lot of, weird-ass shit. But this person felt that, the insulting of one's mother, according to Freud, would mean that one is creating a new sense of identity from one's parents. But because you are accepting the insult upon your own mother by entering in, you're both allowing each other to shit on your mother. You're going there with the intent, they're both going to be shitting on each other's mothers. So in a way, you are accepting your mother being shit on.
Right. Yeah.
So that feels guilty. That's a guilty goddamn feeling. And so sharing that guilt together is a way of group building and identity building. creating an in-group. So I think that the interesting thing about roast battles to me is that they always have an audience. It's usually of comedians, and there's a judging group.
Right. Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
in the original Playing of the Dozens and many other forms of insult, slinging, the audience is necessary for that. So I think it's even more interesting that it's judges, and a lot of those judges are focused on telling the comedians, critiquing their jokes.
Yeah, I definitely think that the roast battle form of it builds community with the way the judges critique both performers, and especially with the fact that their critiques are often wrapped in roasts of the comedian themselves. It's not purely a technical analysis. It's generally them roasting both people on stage.
Yeah, and how it's within a form too.
Yeah.
One joke is slung and then an ad hoc response is allowed, and then you sling a joke and then their ad hoc response. It's like debate format.
Yeah.
So I thought that was super duper interesting, looking back on what Christi Chiello's doing right now, which harkens back to one of the things that just makes us human.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting that it goes that far back. I wouldn't have expected that it did.
Right? Yeah, no, I mean, it goes back as far as we were human.
Yeah.
This 15th and 16th century flighting thing, that's literally only that specific form of that poetry that they're talking about. It's been happening a lot before that. So, Forrest.
Yes. Emily.
Based on all of this, what do you think? What do you think Wednesday's going to be like? What's your prediction?
I think it's going to be Christi taking and responding to a lot of the trolls. Not necessarily the actual trolls, but people may embody the trolls.
You think that
and sling the insults at her. And then we see her or her character, because the fact that she called it either comedy or a sad play, I think does clarify that she'll be playing a character. Probably with her own name, but a character, not herself authentically. And I think it'll play with the vulnerability of that, and which I think will be very Gethard. I think it may be an emotional gauntlet, sort of how the hero's journey on TCGS was a physical gauntlet for her. And so I think it's going to be interesting. I think she will be the target for a lot of it, though. I think I think it will be insults aimed at her. And I mean, I could even see the call-in topic being, give me your best roast of me, and inviting the audience to roast her.
She is very good at responding to roasts.
She's great at responding to roasts.
Because she's a really good self-deprecating comic.
Well, she talked about it on Hope of the Hood, how she doesn't do the self-deprecating.
Well, it's
as much in her comedy, but in the roasts she does.
Well, the roasts, because of their format, I think that's how you get away with having the self-esteem that she does, and having the stand-up persona that she does. She doesn't, make jokes about herself being undesirable.
No.
She doesn't make jokes about herself being stupid. She makes jokes that she's horny.
That's true. You need the bravado.
She asks where all the single men are.
Yeah.
And then laughs when no one says anything.
Yeah.
She embodies those characters, and I think that the format of the roast battle is a way to make really funny jokes, but in a self-protective way. One
That's
of her
true.
jokes, someone, they always make fun of her voice.
Yeah.
And she came back at someone that she has the voice of his wife's miscarriage.
Oh, I remember that. That was so good.
We saw it again today, and I just squeaked.
Yeah, that was so good.
It's so good.
No, but I think you're right. I think it's the time in which you can do a self-deprecating joke while having it still rooted in a sense of bravado, because so many self-deprecating jokes are vulnerability or faux deprecation and diminishing of yourself. Whereas in a roast battle, when you make fun of yourself, it's only further proof that you're on top.
Yeah. And it's, you have to make people really trust you before you can do really funny, dark, self-deprecating humor.
That's true.
Something interesting about dark comedy, Freud likes to use trepidatious.
Huh.
And I'm not sure that I'm using the right word there, or that I'm saying it correctly, but what they mean is like dark poems, or not poems, dark subjects, subjects that are controversial, subjects that carry with them an element of taboo and taboo breaking. That when you have an innocuous joke, so a joke that's just like wordplay, and you put it next to a joke that has that dark content, you get a bigger laugh than if you just do one or the other by itself.
That's 100% true.
And so the question then comes, is it because of the envelope that the joke is in? For example, Martin Urbano's "Hi,
Oh, yeah. I'm
me."
Latino comedian and convicted sex offender Martin Urbano.
Yeah, like that's a funny envelope.
Yeah.
Introducing yourself that way, that's what makes me laugh about that joke.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
the
a
funniest
friend
part
who
about that.
doesn't like that joke,
Yeah.
who I showed she's just like, I don't like that one. I see when you say that, like what you see in it.
Yeah, but it
But,
doesn't
like,
work. It doesn't land for her in the same way, which is fine.
It won't land for everyone.
No.
But that's what was interesting, because about the different types of comedy viewer. Like, for me personally, like, I love being tricked into laughing.
Yeah.
And that's part of, like, Freud's thing is like, oh, like, you're bought in with the wordplay into a thing that Freud's then like, no, but it's what you secretly want. Like, you don't say or think anything that you don't secretly want. And I'm like, my friend, I think that just you specifically are a really messed up person. Like,
I think also the degree to which brains can be tricked was something he didn't, like,
no.
He didn't fully understand the degree to which they're conditioned and shaped by the environment and cocaine. He understood being shaped by cocaine.
He felt very bad about that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he did regret it. But
yeah.
But anyway, so I said I expect that Christi's going to be sort of the target of a lot of comments and abuse akin to comments she's received on the internet, I think, and it'll be about her dealing with the rejection.
I'm so interested to see how she would make that funny. I'm
I am too.
interested to see what element of comedy she's going to try to do to, or what she's going to do to like change that up. And that's why I think it's so cool that she's taking this big risk.
Oh, I love it.
She's swinging for some kind of fence. That's why I'm like, oh, I need to read on like when it's okay to laugh and when it's not okay to laugh. Like, when is a joke, you know, punching up, punching down? Is it the victim yourself? Like, do we trust you? Do we not trust you? Is it within a context of rhyming? Is it within a roast battle context? Is it within the context of a play? I think that that's something that she did well in Actors, was she created the context of this like ridiculous black box play in order to present, you know, And when Lorelai Ramirez did as well, Lorelai Ramirez creating characters that create for them, you know, that's the space they're trying to create to make the violation of the really messed up jokes and subject matter benign.
Yeah.
And therefore funny.
Yeah. No, I think that's accurate. I mean, honestly, Christie's thing about talking about how much of the swing she's taking reminds me a bit of the Gethard guarantee. Mm-hmm. That she can't guarantee, you can't guarantee it'll work, but if it doesn't, it'll be more entertaining than if it had. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it reminds me a bit of that with like, I think if it works, it'll be really funny. But otherwise, I think it'll still be a really moving, sad play.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited. But so I talked about what I expect from the episode. What do you expect this week?
Penises.
Oh, penises. Okay.
Yeah. Penises and really good pussy jokes.
Well, I think one of those will definitely happen. Not the penises.
You don't think it's going to be penises?
I don't think it's
What
gonna
if
be
it's the
penises.
roast of penises?
I mean, Lord knows they deserve it. I've done some things. I've done some roast-worthy things. I would love it. Oh my God, if it ended up just being a Friar Club's roast of penises.
Yep.
That'd be great. But I think it'll be something different than that.
It probably will. So everyone, catch us on October 2nd.
Yes.
Catch Coochie Creek. Watch Actors. It turns out to be about 50 minutes overall.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, each clip
Broken
is
up into a bunch of different videos that are like each a segment of the play.
Mm-hmm. Check out Christi's Discord if you don't follow her.
Or Christie's Discord?
I'm sorry, Christi's social medias. If you aren't following Christi on social media,
definitely follow her.
it's because you don't have social media and feel like having social
and that's
media.
Fair.
If you do have social media and you're not following her, you're not doing it right. And if you don't have social media, I don't know, just sign up with a fake goddamn name. Google accounts are free.
Yeah, just make a fake name and set your address to 123 Fake Street, Anytown, USA.
And you can just subscribe to all Christi's things.
Yeah, she's very funny.
Only see Christi stuff.
She's really good, as you can tell from some of the ones we've highlighted. There's so many more that we could have highlighted that are just as funny. We
She's
just had
a
to
master.
pick 15.
Like, basically
15.
everything she puts is funny.
Oh, yeah, she's always funny. She's very
There's always a joke.
consistently funny on social media. Like, there's some people who are hit or miss.
Or they're just promoting stuff.
Or they're just promoting stuff, and
it's
it's occasionally jokes with mixed in with promotion. Even her promotions are funny.
Dogs. I like dogs.
Yeah.
Comedians who just post pictures of their dogs. I'm here for it.
And that's fine. But Christi is every single time funny. So definitely, if you're on social media, follow her on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere that her social media is active.
Yeah, and we'll see you on the Discord, chrisget.com/live. Watch Christi October 2nd.
Yes.
Join us for the after show where we'll probably be roasting each other.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's where it goes.
Yeah, I'm not a great roaster.
I'm not either.
It's going to be good.
Judge Robin's going to have a lot of heavy lifting then.
Oh, Judge Robin's so good at roasting. Oh, he's such a good roaster. Okay, friends. I'm so sorry about all the noise this episode.
Yes.
Watch Christi Chiello.
Enjoy Rejection, a talk show.
Rejection.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 journeys to Pearl. 525,600